Okay, so now that we've got that, actually that's the wrong uh, golden bag there. Oh, there's the other structural mark II. I knew I made two of them. This is what happens when you happen to be using a belt that swaps your stuff around. That was my mistake, but that's okay. So I've got an extra structural Mark II upgrade. Not a big deal. Let's put our blaze rods back in and our obsidian. So that was one of the key components there, was to keep the sulfur dioxide going. And so I'll go ahead and I'll show you a couple of the other things that I've added to the base. And then we'll go ahead and we'll start moving the other stuff over. Let's see. So I'm auto putting in using the mechanical pipes. I've really started doing more with mechanism here. And so down here I went ahead and I hooked up my liquid XP tanks, which is it's a 9x9 or I'm sorry, it's a 3x3 cube. So there's 27 of these tanks. Well, welcome back, Game Engineer. And so if you wanted to know how much XP I've got in there, it's 16,000 millibuckets, or 16 buckets of XP times 27. And so I went ahead and I created an auto enchantment table and an auto anvil in case I wanted to use those for anything. Let's see. I went ahead and I turned off my my blaze spawner because they were constantly dropping blaze powder, and I've got almost a full barrel of that. So I decided that was enough. Hey, hello, Dove's Heart. So other than that, downstairs, everything is just kind of cleaned up a bit. Let me go and turn on my night vision here. I got a few more ore berries. Now, there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you guys with these. You could call it a trick, or you can call it a good idea. So, for those of you who are familiar with JABBA, you may kind of understand this. And JABBA is the Just Another Better Barrels Attempt mod, which is where all of these barrels are from. Now, if you look at, let's look at these ore berries here, and if we look at a use for them, you'll see that they can be used in place of nuggets. And you'll also see that if you smelt them, they'll become a nugget. Okay, no big deal. But what you may not know is with JABBA, it will actually take two items that are equivalent in your ore dictionary, and it will allow you to combine them. So here, because these are equivalent, I can take these and put them in this barrel that holds iron nuggets. So I no longer have to smelt them or melt them down. I can just put them in directly, or my sorting system will do it for me. What's the advantage of that? Well, obviously I can do the same thing here with the gold ones too. So if you've got Thaumcraft golems or some other way of automatically harvesting these ore berries, then they can automatically go into your barrels, and then you could even have those go in through an auto crafter to turn them into ingots, and then even up to blocks, however you want to do that. But also what it does is it allows you to have, say, multiple types of copper ore, which includes the mechanism copper, the forestry copper, any other mod that adds copper, and you can combine them into one barrel, so you don't have to have a barrel for each one. Also, because the Tinker's Construct gravel ore is equivalent, it will also stack in there, and it'll all get converted into one single type of ore. Saves you a lot of room, saves you a lot of hassle for making sure that everything is going where you want it to go. Now, the next thing you've got is, in Thaumcraft, you've got these golden coins. I just turned ore berries, or nuggets, into coins. What are these coins good for? Well, let's grab some. So in Thaumcraft, actually before I go over there, let me show you where they come from. You can get these out of common treasures or uncommon treasures, which you get for defeating tougher mobs from Thaumcraft. You can get a lot of different things. Let me go ahead and just open up these three and show you. So right there I got some more coins. I got a couple of potions. Splash Potion of Strength, Splash Potion of Invisibility, and let's do one more, and a regular Potion of Invisibility. So you can get some pretty cool stuff from those. Obviously that was common, so the uncommon treasure, you might get some better stuff. I've gotten diamonds, I've gotten emeralds. I haven't gotten anything like armor. I don't think I've even gotten any baubles or anything, but that's okay. So now, if you're familiar with extra utilities, there's the trading post, which allows you to trade with villagers that are nearby. So you can see here, I can actually trade gold coins for arrows, iron ingots, or wool. Let me see if I can actually find this guy. Let's see, you are the beekeeper. And the reason I want to find him, I want to see if there's anything else that I can unlock. You're not the librarian. Is that you? Merchant, yes. So his first one was gold coins for wool, then he went to iron, and then he went to arrows. Let's go ahead and give him 3 of these and see if he'll open up a better trade. Because I'd really like to see what else I might be able to get from this guy for gold nuggets, basically, instead of having to trade for emeralds. So as soon as those go away, let's see if he has another trade. Alright, you're all done. What have you got? Anything? Oh, now I can trade 10 gold coins for a thaumium ingot. So I don't have to make thaumium. All I need is 10 nuggets. So basically, it's 1 nugget more than a gold ingot to get a thaumium ingot. Well, let's go and grab a couple of those. Why not? And then we'll see if he's got any other trades. Are you going to get any new trades? Let's find out. Nope. So thaumium is as high as it goes. So if I think this is a good trade, you know, then I can come in at any time and I can access right through here 10 gold coins for 1 thaumium ingot. If I need thaumium for anything now, I've got it. I'm really kind of pleased with that. So let's go ahead and throw these back in here, and because you can take these coins and melt them down into ingots, you can just put them back into the other barrel if you want as well. So there's a little trick for you if you're into Thaumcraft and you need to trade with one of their villagers on how you can get some more of that stuff. Let's see. Next thing we need to do is I want to let you know that for those of you who may not know, anyone is welcome to come and join us on the server. Just send me a message. Let me know that you're interested. I'll get you the link so that you can install the mod pack using the Technic Launcher. Test it out on your system. Make sure everything is working okay, because some people do have problems with some of the rendering of the mechanism tanks crashing their computers. Normally that's people that have a lower end video card. Even I get a bit of a stutter on mine. So I want you to test it out before you come onto the server and just keep crashing because you can't use any eye. So one of the things that I did some research on to get fixed was there were some problems with Ender.io and other systems that use the Thermal Expansion API, the COFH core. It has the API that allows machines to interconnect. Well, there was a problem with those things connecting with Mechanism, and in fact, I'll go and I'll grab a couple of cables here. I should have Yeah, so I've got some extra energy conduits here, and previously these would not connect, but now they will. And what one of the problems is that some of the other mods, specifically Ender.io and extra utilities in forestry, they were including a copy of the thermal expansion API. But that API was an older version, and so it didn't mesh with Mechanism, which is using the it's designed to interact with the most current version of the API. So not Mechanism's fault. I don't really want to point fingers at other mod makers because they're including that API so that you can use it. However, it would be nice if there was a little bit more information out there as far as, hey, if you're having problems with this working with Mechanism, then go ahead and install the COFH core. I know a lot of people actually use thermal expansion. We decided not to because we were using factorization. And so rather than add an entirely new mod to the system, I've just put in the API so the systems can communicate now. So for anyone who was kind of holding back on using Mechanism because it didn't interact well with some of the other mods, that has been fixed. Let's see. So let's go ahead and grab some ore to process so I can show you guys the ×5 ore processing mechanic. And there's also another thing. We're going to do another B-Space upgrade. And since it's dark right now, I'm just going to go ahead and run underground. Everything's lit up, but I don't want to have to worry about, you know, if I see mobs off in the distance. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the quintupling of ore that Mechanism allows, I'll go ahead and I'll walk through the process here real quick. So this here is our solar evaporation unit, and obviously it doesn't work at night because there's no sun. We're at the maximum height of 18 blocks. Every one of these blocks requires 8 copper ingots. So it has a 2x2 hole in the center. So basically this is a 4x4 structure that's hollow in the center, and every single one of those blocks, which it's about 3 stacks of blocks, every single one of those requires 8 copper ingots. So that's a lot of copper. That's a lot of any resource, as well as it needs quite a bit of iron because you need the tank parts require iron and steel, so you've got to have steel production up and running. Just a lot of resources to get that thing up and running. However, once it is up and running, it works really, really well. And so previously I mentioned that I was playing catch-up because I had all of these crystals that were not being processed because the chemical injection chamber did not accept input from anything, even its own logistical pipes. That has been fixed in the current version. Now if you look, we've got all of these shards that need to get back, either back over to our base, or we need to move the other components over here so that everything is self-contained over here. I think I'm going to go ahead and move the other machines over here, and then I'll go ahead and I'll use that empty space over there, and I think it's about time to get started on some forestry. I'd like to get some other power options going besides solar. There's nothing wrong with solar, but I think I'd like to go ahead and start working on some other options. Now you can see here, this thing has stopped at, well, not exactly stopped, but the hopper's full is what I was trying to say. So here you can see we're almost completely full on sulfur dioxide, which goes into here. Sorry, I was going to give you a breakdown on how everything works. Okay, so up above we have the solar evaporation system, which makes what's called brine. So basically the water that's going in, think of it as seawater. If you were going to set this up, you'd have to be using seawater because you need salt. Um, there are two ways to get brine. One way is through this giant machine that I've made. Let me go ahead and sleep through the night. Let me just find my sleeping bag, because I want to go and get that producing again real quick. So think of it as you're piping seawater, salt water into this giant evaporation system. Yeah, we're kind of cheating because we've got these reservoirs which are basically just an infinite water source. And I actually have two of them going in order to be able to make enough. So that runs through an electrolytic separator, which takes the brine and separates it into sodium, which is your salt from the salt water, and something here that we can't see because it's being used up so quickly. That would be chlorine. So brine consists of chlorine and sodium. So we take that and mix it with hydrogen in order to get hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen and chlorine, hydrogen chloride. We have another electrolytic separator here that just takes water and splits it into hydrogen and oxygen. So the hydrogen goes over into here to make the hydrogen chloride. It's also used to power our armored jetpack, which I must say looks pretty darn awesome. The ceiling's too low for me to actually show you, so let me go ahead and hop up here and you can see it. I love the flames. It's basically the same rendering as the bats in the Nether. Sometimes I get a little bit confused when I'm flying around the Nether as to whether or not a bat's coming after me. I also am wearing the slow fall wings from Tinker's Construct. So it's also used for... Did I just... There we go. It's also used for fueling our flamethrower. I love this flamethrower. It really is awesome. You're not going to see it doing anything there because that's just regular stone, but it will smelt blocks. So it's kind of like the mining laser, except it won't do anything to stone, but it will turn cobblestone into back into stone. You can also use it here, but you don't get any bonuses for doing it that way. So you kind of want to be careful where you shoot things with this. But it's really great for setting mobs on fire.